What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Big Joe, half of the duo 40 and Fresh, and I'm back with part 2 of Can I Be a Christian and Not Be Like Christ? I have been a San Francisco 49er fan since 1980. I've always been a San Francisco 49er fan, probably always will be a San Francisco 49er fan. I think that makes me a diehard fan because I refuse to like another team. Just won't do it. However, I have never been to the West Coast. I've always lived on the East Coast. I've never been to Candlestick Park. I didn't see Joe Montana play. Not live, on TV, of course. My car doesn't scream San Francisco 49ers. My truck doesn't scream San Francisco 49ers. My house is not decked out with San Francisco 49ers. But somewhere there's a fan who has all of that and above. That and then some. And for their reason, they believe that that makes them a diehard fan. Well, what does this have to do with not being like Christ and calling myself a Christian? Because we believe in the same context, whatever I believe makes me a Christian is what makes me a Christian. That's the whole thing I'm addressing. That's not the case at all. This is not about being a fan of Christ, loving him according to your own standards. Being a Christian is about loving him to his standards and what the word says about those who love him. That's what this whole thing is about. That's what it's all about. So we don't get to pick and choose whether or not you're a Christian. Let me address the other side, the flip side of that, because I don't want you to think the other way also. It doesn't mean because you're the person who's always at church, always giving your tithe and offering, always the one toting the Bible, shouting, dancing, huckabucking in church or speaking in tongues, that makes you a Christian either. And we'll apply this to it. The person who believes that it doesn't take all that. You don't have to do all this. You don't have to do all that. I can serve God at home. I ain't got to go to this. I know what God means. God knows my heart. Yeah, everybody's got a reason to define what makes them a Christian at whatever degree makes them a Christian, the same way that I believe I'm a diehard fan. However, I haven't done all the other things that some other diehard fans have done. But this is not about that. This is about pleasing God. So it's not about how many church services you've been to. It's not how many scriptures you know or you've read or you can memorize. It's not about how many songs you've led or how much you shout at church or how much you dance and speak in tongue. It's not about any of that, actually. It's about how obedient you are, how disciplined you are, because Jesus didn't call his followers Christians. He called them disciples, and disciples have discipline, and discipline is a result of continued obedience. Obedience not to your own mindset, your own thinking, not to your own ways of thoughts, but to his. And the whole objective of you learning to be like him is simply to do one thing: share the gospel. If you're a Christian, you share the gospel. If you're a Christian, you follow Jesus. If you're a Christian, you're a disciple. If you're a Christian, you love your enemies, you forgive your enemies. If you're a Christian, you're always seeking peace. If you're a Christian, you love on people who feel loveless, hopeless. If you're a Christian, you bear much fruit. If you're a Christian, you put God first and last because he's the beginning and the last, the Alpha and the Omega. That's what it's all about, being a Christian. There's more to it, of course, but we'll get into that next video. Thank you for your time. I love you. God bless.